You've worked hard to earn and save. Now it's time to make your money work hard for you. This is Empower Your Retirement with Frank and Frankie Guida of A Better Way Financial.
It is summertime, Frankie. You and your wife, Jade, expecting a baby, so vacation is not necessarily happening for you guys this year.
Not the same as it used to be. Last year, we got to go on a beautiful trip to Italy. This year, it was a nice long weekend in Cape May.
It's right. It's a whole different kind of vacation when we're just waiting for baby to arrive.
The baby moon.
That's right. That's right. But for you listening, if you have planned a vacation this year, hitting the beach, or maybe getting away someplace exciting like Italy, like Frankie was just pointing out, hopefully for you, one thing isn't going to come in and throw a wrench in the entire wheel. Because this new survey by GoCity.com was surveying people to ask about the quote-unquote perfect vacation. This is a dream case scenario. Vacations last 11 days. It's only 3 hours from home, so people are not interested in traveling. They're wanting to be on the vacation. It costs nearly $9,000 per person, this dream vacation.
Ouch. And only 3 hours from home. So
right.
I would think if it was like $9,000 a person, you'd think, all right, well, that's probably somewhere across an ocean somewhere.
Let's do the quick math, though, on an 11-day vacation at Disney. How quickly could that become $9,000 per person? I bet pretty fast.
Probably pretty quickly.
Yeah. But here's what's interesting, because the study also found that 92% of respondents said if just one thing goes wrong on a trip, it's enough to ruin the entire vacation. And I think that's pretty extreme. Although I guess if you're driving to Disney and as you're leaving, the car breaks down, I mean, that could really ruin the vacation, Frankie.
Yeah, get around the car. You'll figure it out.
He's so optimistic. The workaround's always there. That's why I appreciate you, Frankie. That's the kind of mindset we need when it comes to figuring out our financial plan, our retirement plan, because thinking about the work that you do, essentially our retirement should be kind of like a 20, 30-year vacation. However, are there, quote unquote, one things that you see that could seriously damage an otherwise solid retirement plan? How do you help to find and hopefully avoid circumstances like that for your clients?
Well, these things absolutely exist. And I feel like if something goes wrong on your vacation, it's really more of a rite of passage.
Got it. Got it.
I haven't had a vacation where something hasn't gone wrong.
Right,
there's always something that's going to go wrong. It's like having a wedding, right?
That's right.
The wedding day is not going to be perfect. There's going to be something that happens, something memorable, and you're like, all right, well, that was my wedding thing that happened.
It's the thing that you got to laugh about later. Just go with the flow.
Exactly. It's the same thing on your vacation.
Okay.
Something's going to go wrong. Usually it's small, but something happens. Last trip, we went to Italy. And I forgot my license.
Oh, no.
And I signed up for the rental car. So my wife had to do the driving.
Okay.
And she hated it. She was driving down these small, I don't know if anybody's ever ridden through Naples, but it is a crazy place to drive. There might be 4 lanes, but there's like
six lanes of
or
traffic.
7 cars across the 4 lanes.
Frankie, I had friends that lived in Naples, and I went and visited them. And my friend Josh, they're Navy people. My friend Josh was like, Heather, just close your eyes, because you're not kidding. Like a 4-lane highway was 7 lanes of traffic.
And then the motorcycle people are weaving in and out, and they're just crazy. And yeah, it's crazy, but we made it there. We had a wonderful time. We got back safe, and we had a fun story to tell. I mean, she probably didn't appreciate it as much as I did, but it was fun. Yes. And the thing is, too, Heather, if you're looking for the negative in something, you're going to find it. But if you look for the positive in it, you find that, too. So if you're spending $9,000 per person on a vacation, you might as well enjoy it,
That's right. Yep. That's right.
It's good to have that positive mental attitude as these things are happening, because otherwise you're just going to be miserable the whole time, and nobody wants that for them. So let's see what we can do to take things serious and have fun when it comes to that stuff. If there's not a plan, so the biggest things that I've seen where it comes to the one thing that can ruin retirement plans is, well, the first one's not having a plan, right? If you don't have a plan, you don't necessarily know, well, what am I going to do? Because there are a lot of actions that you need to take when it comes to retirement planning. Like, how am I going to turn on my Social Security? How should I file that? Which option should I use, and what age should I do it at? That's a decision. If you have a pension, which option should I take for my pension? Should I do single? Should I do joint? Should I do a lump sum option? That's a decision. If you have a portfolio, 401k or IRA, which investment should I be in to make sure I'm getting the most growth within my personal risk tolerance? That's a decision. And if it's, well, I still need to make an extra $20,000 a year of income from my investments, how do I take it out? What do I do to make it more tax efficient? That's a decision. So there's a lot of decisions that come into retirement planning. And if you don't have a plan, you don't have a strategy in place to make sure that you're making the right decisions. So having that plan is something that can really turn the ship in the right direction, so to speak. So it can really make a huge difference and avoid having that one thing, that major thing go wrong. For some people, it could be if there's a major market crash and they're taking on too much risk, that could be a huge problem. If they don't have a plan for taxes and they're just paying extra taxes each year because nobody told them and they didn't have a plan, that can be a huge problem. And we see that as one of the biggest problems because it's one of the most neglected items when it comes to retirement planning. And this is something that you see pretty much all the time on advisor statements. It says, consult your tax advisor, consult your tax professional. And the problem with that is they're making investment advice decisions, but they're not paying attention to your tax situation. And the problem with that is because if you don't pay attention to taxes, you could be losing 20 to 30% off the top in taxes each year because you're not paying that attention. And so what we recommend is having an advisor who also can do the tax planning. And a lot of people think, well, I have an accountant. Do they do the tax planning for me? And usually they do the tax preparation, which is all in all different than the tax planning necessary to try to save lots of money in taxes over one's retirement years. And tax planning, what that can do is it can take money in essence from those retirement accounts, those IRAs or those 401ks, and make it more and more tax efficient over the course of your retirement years so that as you're taking income, you're doing it tax efficiently. And by having that portfolio set up the right way, we show folks that on average, they could save hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes over the course of their retirement years. So if you haven't had that discussion with your advisor, or you haven't done that tax planning on your own yet, give us a call and we'll put together a complimentary tax plan for you where we're going to be able to show you the strategies that you can use to make your portfolio more tax efficient over the course of your retirement years. So if you're 55 and older and you've saved $500,000 or more for your retirement, give us a call right now for your complimentary tax plan and review. And we're offering this right now for the next 5 callers at 610-440-3722. That's 610-440-3722. Now, we recently had someone come in who did a tremendous job saving. She was 62 years old. She had 2 children of her own and saved around $3 million for her retirement.
Nice.
And fortunately for her, she only needed around $100,000 of income per year.
Okay.
And she had around $80,000 of income from her pension and around $48,000 of income coming in from her Social Security once she hit age 70. So a lot of her income need was already satisfied. So she was doing well with that. But the problem with her situation was she didn't have a strategy to make her portfolio more tax efficient over the course of her retirement years. And by having her portfolio the way that it was, she was projected to pay $3 million more in taxes than she needed to over the course of her retirement years.
Wow.
And her children were projected to pay an additional $1 million more in taxes than they needed to when they inherited the funds. And we showed her just by utilizing the tax planning strategies that we were able to implement that she was projected to save that $3 million in taxes. So she saved $3 million for retirement, and now she's going to be able to save an additional $3 million in taxes alone, and then transition that estate more tax efficiently to her kids as well. So this is a huge impact. And by setting that up the right way, we were able to translate that to additional income she could have to enjoy her retirement and live it to the fullest. We showed her that by setting this up the right way, she would be able to live on an additional $65,000 more income each year throughout her retirement. Wow. So instead of $100,000 going up to $165,000, going up for inflation and being able to spend it the way that she wanted to. And to her, family was really important. We showed her, hey, if you don't want to spend all of that right now, here's what you can do. You can gift some of it to the kids and see the enjoyment of it now rather than leaving them a huge lump sum at the end. So you get to see the enjoyment of it rather than leaving it, which is just so much better because they're going to need the money sooner anyways, and it would help them more now than it would help them 20 years from now, 30 years from now. So, and you can't really see it after you pass away. But when you're here and witnessing the joy of it and seeing what you're able to do, it really can impact you in a positive way. And by having that tax planning done, she was able to live such a more fulfilling life throughout her retirement years. So right now we're offering for the next 5 callers a complimentary tax plan where we're going to be able to show you how to implement these strategies for you and learn what you can do to save money in taxes over the course of your retirement years. So if you're 55 and older and you've saved $500,000 or more for your retirement, give us a call right now for your complimentary tax plan and review. That number is 610-440-3722. That's 610-440-3722.
Thanks for listening to Empower Your Retirement with Frank and Frankie Guida. To learn more, visit abetterwayfinancial.com.
By contacting us, we'll review aspects of your retirement portfolio to include suggestions about how best to utilize estate, tax, and retirement planning strategies and other financial services, or if changing management styles is appropriate for your specific needs and objectives. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendations to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. A Better Way Financial is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Any client experiences discussed during this show are unique to that client, and they are not meant to imply or suggest you will experience the same results. Advisory services offered through A Better Way Financial. Insurance offered through licensed professionals at A Better Way Financial. Pennsylvania Insurance License number 301779.